Today, we're going to be talking about margins and markups. And a lot of people interchange them thinking they are talking about the same thing, but you are not. What's the difference? So, a markup is actually going to be what you talk about with cost. The focus is on the cost. The driver in the formula is the cost. How much you increase cost to get to your selling price. And so the formula for this is going to be your selling price minus cost divided by cost. Now, just so that we are again on all the same page, what does cost mean? This can be different for different people, but it for different companies, but a lot of the cost is whatever it takes to create your product or service directly and you're selling to your client. So if you are talking about a repair job for one of your clients, this may include any parts that you have. This will include the labor that it takes to install the item, and then you have your selling price. So again, markup is really focused on your cost. And then you have margin, and this is going to be focused on revenue. So how much profit you keep out of the selling price. So this formula is selling price minus cost. So the same thing, which is why they sometimes are mixed up a lot because we're working with kind of the same figures, but the driving piece in this is going to be selling price. So selling price minus cost divided by selling price. Why does this actually matter? Like I said, businesses end up mixing these up, and the difference really is going to be where are you thinking about these numbers. And a lot of times when people are talking about margins, they really are talking about the profitability of the product or business or that sort of thing. So you're going to get a lot of, most of the time you'll see this more on your financial statement. And markup is really going to be aligned with your pricing strategy and how much do you want to get from your client and standardizing different things. And when you know the difference between the two, you can price more confidently and you can maintain consistency with your profitability. Not every service or product is going to have the same markup or margin, but as long as you are dialing in which one you're talking about and which driver is the part of it, then you'll be able to communicate that pricing to your clients and vendors a lot more clearly. This is a great side-by-side view of where the difference between margin and markup are. If we go down to the very bottom, we have our margin starting at 5% and our markup is at 5.3. Again, they're very similar, but where you can get into huge trouble is when you are talking about higher markups. Markups are always going to be larger than your margin because your selling price is higher than your cost. And so if your bottom number, your driver of the formula, that's what's going to kind of be in line with that. So again, when you see the bottom, the bottom three, maybe bottom four, 20% margin compared to a 25% markup, there's not a huge difference. But you get up to a 50% margin, you need 100% markup. And that, if we're interchanging these numbers, and you're thinking that you are perhaps getting a 50% margin, you need to be marking up a lot more on your product to actually get that margin that you're wanting. And why kind of go back a little bit, when you are talking about margin, that's going to be really about what is going to help the rest of your business really fall in line with being profitable. Because your gross margin at the top is just specifically your product to sell to clients and how much you're going to sell it to clients, or your service that you are providing and the cost it takes and how much you're pricing that. But your margin of your business needs to be able to incorporate all the rest of the costs involved with your business. So that's going to be any business licensing or insurance or your administration that writes invoices or gathers the material. And so the margin needs to ensure that all of the costs associated with the business is still in there. So knowing the difference is really good. Let's look at an example really quick. So you have your selling price at 150, you have cost at $100, and then X is kind of like 50. Maybe we don't know what we're like trying to talk about. Are we talking about margin or markup? But let's kind of see what the difference is here. So if you have a margin, you have your selling price 150 minus 100, same thing, margin markup. But as you can see, the driver here in the bottom of the equation is largely different. So on the margin, it's going to be your selling price. So higher bottom denominator is going to equal a lower percentage. So we have 33% margin. On your markup, our markup is smaller, so we'll have a higher percentage. So 150 minus your cost of 100 divided by, again, your cost is going to be 50%. I'll throw in another formula for you because heck, why not? If you want to get to a 50% margin, how do you do that? What do you need to sell your product at? So the equation here is selling price equals cost divided by 1 minus your margin. So in this calculation, we know cost. Cost is $100 divided by 1 minus 0.5. Remember that any percentage is converted into a decimal. So 100 minus 1, or divided by 1 minus 0.5 is going to be 200. So in order to have a margin of 50%, we need to have a selling price of 200. Where if we want to mark up of 50%, we only need a selling price of 150. Again, very minor differences, but when you stack it all up, this can make a huge difference within your business. So getting those numbers right can be key. That's what I have for you today. It's really quick today. I do want to mention that I won't be here next week. I am going on a cruise for my birthday. I'm really excited about it, but I am also equally excited to get back and do these lives with you. I've been really enjoying them. If you feel that you want some help with getting your books in order for the end of the year, that is coming very quickly. We can help with that. If you want more of the strategy of like, you think that things are going well and you're pricing things correctly, but you're still just like ending up at the end of the day and cash is just crunched and you are not able to make these things, reach out. We will dive in and see what's going on and see how we can work as a team together and see what's going on. So the information is on our chart. I look forward again to see you in a couple weeks. I hope that you are spending time with your family. I know that it's super crazy with Thanksgiving last week and then Christmas coming up, but on work goes. So hope you guys enjoy your week, and we will see you next time. Bye.